We supposed to be dropping.
Man, Lord.
We supposed to be mad today.
We met that dude, Duke the Jeweler, the night before. We was gambling. The next day, dude followed us to the concert. When we left out the concert, we under the garage. Dude went to his car by himself and walked down to the parking.
To get their money back was however their money back. He said, but Lil Cam Wolf and Big Caprice are the three. I'm up, I got the next, and they passed the dice to each other, but they loaded, but they shooting against them up.
Boosie just came out swinging, calling out J. Prince Jr. over the whole Duke the Jeweler setup, and now J. Prince Sr. is firing back like never before. For years, folks been pointing the finger at Boosie, saying he lined Duke up, but he's done playing quiet. He's naming names, throwing shade, and putting mob ties dead in the crosshairs. The streets are buzzing, the feds are sniffing around, and everybody's asking, who really pulled those strings that night? And why is J. Prince Sr. so pressed? Let's run it back. September 2022. A 29-year-old Duke, the jeweler, gets gunned down in what's called a robbery right after leaving Boosie's concert in Houston. The minute it happened, whispers blew up. Claims that Boosie either gave the green light or knew exactly who did it. Word on the street, two dudes set Duke up that night, and they weren't random. They had deep family ties to Boosie. Social media ate that up, and while Boosie stayed silent, the streets kept pointing heavy for months. But now, the block is spinning the story back, eyes locked on someone else, J. Prince Jr., the son of Houston's so-called hip-hop godfather. While Boosie took all the heat, the real shot caller stayed quiet, clean, and hiding in plain sight. Until now, the cracks are showing, and the picture is looking too perfect to be real, like the whole thing was staged. Boosie wasn't the mastermind. He was the fall guy, allegedly. Why? Because he was there that night he performed, and he's the one who supposedly invited Duke. Rumor even says Duke's Louis Vuitton bag ended up at Boosie's spot. But that ain't proof of guilt, just proof of proximity. And that's what made him the perfect setup. Boosie ain't holding back no more. He's straight up calling out J. Prince Jr. over the Duke the Jeweler setup. And now J. Prince Sr. is snapping back hard. For years, the whispers painted Boosie as the one who lined Duke up, but he's tired of eating that blame. He's dropping names, tossing shade, and pointing dead at mob ties. The internet is going crazy, the feds are circling, and the streets want to know who really called the shots that night, and why is J. Prince Sr. taking it so personal. Let's rewind it.
That dude, Duke the Jeweler, the night before. We was gambling. The next day, dude followed us to the concert. When we left out the concert, we under the garage. Dude went to his car by himself and walked down to the parking lot.
September 2022. 29-year-old Duke the Jeweler gets shot dead in what they called a robbery just after leaving Boosie's concert in Houston. Right after, the talk exploded. Boosie either gave the nod or knew exactly who did it. Street word, two dudes lined Duke up that night, and they weren't random. They had serious family links to Boosie. Social media ran with that story, and Boosie kept his lips sealed while the block kept pointing his way for months. But now, the game's flipping. The eyes are shifting to someone else. J. Prince Jr., son of Houston's self-proclaimed hip-hop godfather. While Boosie soaked up all the heat, the real puppet master stayed clean, quiet, and right in plain sight. But those cracks are showing, and the picture is looking staged from the jump. Boosie wasn't the boss. He was the pawn, allegedly. Why? Because he was there, performed that night, and supposedly invited Duke. Word even says Duke's Louis Vuitton bag popped up at Boosie's spot, but that's not proof of guilt, just proof he was close. And that's exactly why he made the perfect fall guy. Boosie just lit the block on fire, calling out J. Prince Jr. over the Duke, the jeweler setup. And now J. Prince Sr. is clapping back harder than ever. For years, the talk was that Boosie lined Duke up, but he's done taking that hit. He's dropping names, throwing shade, and putting mob ties straight in the spotlight. The streets are in a frenzy, the feds are circling, and everybody's asking who really pulled those strings that night, and why is J. Prince Sr. looking so rattled? Let's take it back. September 2022, 29-year-old Duke the Jeweler gets shot down in what's called a robbery just after leaving Boosie's concert in Houston.
That's ever really been in LA, he checked in. Any real dude that's ever been in Atlanta, he checked in. If you moving and you getting money, you gonna check in because you need to know the right places to be and places not to be. That's a business.
Soon as it happened, the whispers caught fire. Claims that Boosie either gave the go-ahead or knew exactly who did it. Word from the streets, 2 dudes set Duke up, and they weren't just some random faces. They had deep family ties to Boosie. Social media ran with it, and Boosie stayed quiet while the streets kept aiming his way for months. But now the focus is flipping. Eyes locked on J. Prince Jr., the son of Houston's self-proclaimed hip-hop godfather. While Boosie caught all the heat, the real mover stayed clean, low-key, and right there in plain sight until now. The cracks are showing, and the setup's looking too perfect, like it was scripted from the start. Boosie wasn't the shot caller. He was the pawn, allegedly. Why? Because he was there that night on stage, and the one who supposedly brought Duke through. Word even says Duke's Louis Vuitton bag surfaced at Boosie's spot. But that's not proof of guilt. Just proof he was close. And that's exactly why he was the perfect fall guy. When you break a system rigged on ego, money, and power, somebody's gotta pay, and Duke paid with his life. Whack 100 came out swinging, saying J. Prince been brainwashing the game for decades, posing as a protector while pulling strings from the shadows. But Whack wasn't the only one talking.
They be checking in. That's y'all favorite thing to do. Check in with somebody that's gonna rob your stupid ass.
Wow.
Yo, you think that guy, the guy that you don't know in California got your back?
Charleston White jumped in, saying Duke's death hit different. Not just because he was talented, but because it never had to go down that way. Charleston called it plain. Mob ties built an atmosphere in Houston that ain't just unsafe, it's deadly. Artists check in thinking they're safe, but they're really walking into loaded traps surrounded by sharks. According to Charleston, Duke didn't get protected, he got played. He checked in with the wrong crew and ended up gone, not for disrespect, but for being too trusting. Charleston didn't sugarcoat a thing. He ripped the whole industry saying, "This ain't protection, it's extortion dressed up pretty. A twisted code where silence keeps you breathing." He claimed most rappers are too scared to even whisper the truth. And Duke's death? According to him, it wasn't random, it was ritual. Now that silence is starting to crack. Even 50 Cent tossed gasoline on the fire, dropping cryptic clips, sliding in captions that hinted at something deeper, and subtly showing love to Boosie.
Curve that a certain jeweler around and got past the dice on accident and was hitting all them for a couple hundred because, right, boom. The only way they could get their money back was however their money back. Lil Cam Wolf and Big Caprice are the 3 designated to say I'm up, I got the next, and they pass the dice to each other. But
then came the finesse 2-time situation, and that's when things really went left. Word on the street says J. Prince Jr. allegedly got Finesse's girl pregnant behind his back, and FNG No Love was loud about it. And if silence equals guilt, this ain't just quiet, it's screaming. Finesse didn't say a single word to kill the rumors. This is the same guy who used to call mob ties family, and now he won't even speak their name. He's ghosted them completely, just cold distance, heavy tension, and a vibe that screams loyalties dead. Fans are connecting the dots. Takeoff's murder, Boosie's public call-out, Finesse's fallout, and the same name keeps popping up in every headline, J. Prince Jr. The internet's losing it because that wall of silence ain't holding anymore. To some, it's looking like an empire built on fear is finally starting to crack. One user wrote, J. Prince has set up so many people and had several people knocked. Another posted, J. Prince took him out, not Boosie.
over the years, the decades of doing whatever he's doing, he's been having a way of brainwashing people.
Oh, yeah?
To thinking he's doing one thing when he really up to a next.
And Duke the Jeweler? He wasn't just some flashy dude with ice. He was a self-made king out of Chicago. No industry handouts, just raw grind and pure skill. Started in the early 2000s sketching designs in a cramped studio, flipping nothing into pure luxury. Soon, his one-of-a-kind creations were draped on the biggest names: Rihanna, King Von, 50 Cent, even Boosie. Duke's designs weren't just flashy, they were legacy pieces, the kind you pass down for generations. And that's exactly what made him a problem to the wrong people. His value skyrocketed fast, and in this game, when raw independence runs headfirst into power, somebody's bound to feel threatened. Duke didn't just walk into the wrong room, he walked into a lion's den, draped in gold, trusting the wrong smiles, shaking the wrong hands, and he paid the ultimate price. That room, a high-stakes dice game hosted by J. Prince Jr.
These street homie that's projecting these rules and then coming here playing like they admirable men with street rules and street exit. Nah, homie, them look was set up that night.
Sources say Duke cleaned house that night, stacking up around $100,000 right there on the table. But that win might have been his death sentence. Moments later, he was robbed, stripped of his jewelry, his cash, his phone, and then shot, not once, but multiple times, like somebody wanted him wiped off the map. The industry still hasn't recovered. Duke's death hit different. This wasn't some random stick-up, it was a calculated hit. It felt personal, deliberate, like a message was being sent loud and clear. Now Boosie is scrambling to clear his name, swearing up and down he had nothing to do with it. When footage surfaced showing Boosie's reaction to the news, the man looked broken. Couldn't even get his words out, like he truly didn't see it coming. And maybe, just maybe, he really didn't. But now J. Prince Sr. is blasting back and Boosie's flipping the script, accusing him of being the one setting people up.
He was called something, some dude tried to rob him. Some dudes tried to rob him. I had just met dude yesterday. We was in a garage. He must have walked outside to the parking lot. We was in a garage. We heard this.
The streets aren't buying it though, cause Takeoff was taken out in that same city, and the coroner's report tells its own story. 8th piece, this is the last piece. Tell audience to subscribe, share, comment, and like this video. Said he was hit in the head and torso multiple times. That don't sound like no stray bullet like investigators claim. That sounds planned. Now J. Prince Sr. is clapping back at Whack 100 for siding with Boosie, calling him a clown, calling him loud, but the streets are saying he's just trying to dodge the real heat. He tried to flip it, saying, if you think about him, he is a clown. I love hip-hop culture. I put years into my movement for the culture. This ain't just about Boosie or Duke. This is about a whole system built on fear, silence, and fake protection. It's about the power moves that force artists to check in just to step foot in a city they don't control. It's about how self-made kings like Duke, who built everything from the ground up, still ain't safe once they walk into the wrong room. Duke's death didn't just leave a hole in the jewelry game. It cracked something deeper, exposing just how grimy this industry can be. Boosie says he was the bait, finesse times, fell back, Takeoff checked in, and still lost his life. And now J. Prince Sr. looks like he's scrambling. But if this is only the start, who's gonna be the next to speak up or disappear? The coroner's report on Takeoff's death painted a cold, surgical picture. Gunshot wounds to the head and torso, no chance of survival. And just like Duke's case, the whispers started immediately. Different night, different victim, but the same city, the same names floating in the air. Houston's so-called safe haven for artists was starting to look like a trap with no way out. Takeoff wasn't even the target, according to multiple witnesses. He was just in the wrong place when an argument popped off between Quavo and others. But that's what makes it all feel connected. Wrong place, wrong time, wrong people running the room. The street talk turned ugly, quick. Accusations that Mob Ties was losing control of their own events, or worse, that the chaos wasn't an accident at all. Videos from that night show the aftermath. People frozen, others running, and one familiar figure moving through the crowd like nothing happened. Fans started stacking the coincidences. Duke gone after a J. Prince Jr. dice game, Takeoff gone after a night surrounded by the same circle. Two high-profile deaths, two storms of unanswered questions and the same empire's name wrapped up in both. Now, Boosie's shots at J. Prince Sr. are hitting different because it's no longer just about one night, it's about a pattern. And the streets are starting to wonder if Houston's crown is about to crack wide open. They said he was hit in the head and torso multiple times, and that don't sound like no stray bullet like investigators claimed. That sounds planned. Now J. Prince Sr. is clapping back at Whack 100 for siding with Boosie, calling him a clown, calling him loud, but the streets are saying he's just ducking the real heat. He tried to flip it, saying, "If you think about him, he is a clown. I love hip-hop culture. I put years into my movement for the culture." But this ain't just about Boosie or Duke. It's about an entire system built on fear, silence, and fake protection. It's about the power plays that force artists to check in just to step foot in a city they don't even run. It's about how self-made kings like Duke, who built their empire from scratch, still ain't safe once they walk into the wrong room. Duke's death didn't just shake the jewelry game, it cracked something deeper, exposing how grimy this industry really gets. Boosie says he was the bait, finessed 2 times, fell back, Takeoff checked in and still lost his life. And now, J. Prince Sr. looks like he's scrambling. But if this is only the start, who's gonna be the next to speak up or vanish? Make sure you subscribe, share, comment, and like this video because this story, it's far from over.